Hey folks, it's Jeremy Osterberger. We're here at the ECC PerspECCtives Annual Conference 2024 in Colorado Springs, and I'm very blessed and happy to be with Mr. Brian Ferrier. Brian is with Chevron, and he is General Manager of Design and Engineering. Brian, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Okay, got to ask, man, you been riding motorcycles lately?
Not too recently, but yeah.
A little bit there. All right, well, good. That's most important. Brian, I know you. I just want to let our audience hear a little bit about your current roles and responsibilities at Chevron.
Okay, so in Chevron, I actually work in the Chevron Technical Center. Within that, we do a lot of early phase engineering, and we have the design assurance, which ensures the deliverables are up to the quality we need. And then there's an engineering team which we have, which makes sure that the tools and processes are in place for the teams to actually execute our project.
Fantastic. So, Brian, we just participated in a session here at the show. That session was called Predictable Engineering in an Unpredictable World. Brian, talk a little bit about Chevron, Wood, and Worley's global partnership, if you would.
Sure. So this really came back to about 2019, 2020. We were looking to see how we could actually improve our engineering quality. One of the things we realized was that by having persistent teams within Chevron, that we can get better outcomes and get more predictable outcomes. And that translated into the external as well. So if we were to have a strategic engineering contract in place, we'd be able to have more predictable outcomes as well. So it was an extension of that.
How are those three organizations, how are you building that future together? Tell us about the details.
So we really picked out two companies that we have a global footprint with that we've worked for a long time. And we reached out to them and said, look, we want to go on a journey, and asked if they're prepared to come along with us. And they were. And during COVID, so every Tuesday or Wednesday night, we'd have remote team meetings, and we'd tie in the UK, we'd tie in Australia, and we would talk about what we're trying to do and see if we can get aligned objectives. And we spent 9 months in total going through that. But the first 6 months were about how to get trust, what are your drivers, what would you want to see that we do better, how can we better communicate. So it was working all the soft issues first, which was by nature hard.
Yeah, really challenging.
Yeah.
How many folks have been involved in those meetings? I'm trying to get a feel for,
So on average, there would be about 8 to 10 people in each one of these meetings. So we had one night would be Wood, and the next night would be Worley. And we ran that for about 4 or 5 months. And then after a period of time, we said, look, we have a fear that we could be diverging and having the same question come up with 2 different answers. How would you feel about sitting down with us together in the same room? So Wood and Worley sit in the same room as competitors with us to try and thrash out how we could do these engineering MSAs. And they agreed to do that.
So, Brian, when I was in the session, I heard words like vulnerability, trust, alignment. You touched on this a little bit, but let's go deeper in there. I mean, how do you manage those feelings?
So it's really difficult with engineers, not good with feelings. So to get any sort of relationship going through, have a true partnership, you have to have an element of trust. But to get that trust, you have to be vulnerable and open up and explain what your drivers are and what your concerns are, and ask certain questions of each other. So we spent a lot of time going through here and saying, this is what we want to try and get out of this. Is this what you're looking to go? And we had a lot of difficult conversations. They were professional, they were collaborative, and it took us nearly 6 months to get to a spot we think we're ready to move forward. In the first 6 months, we never talked about the financial aspects of these contracts at all. It was about trying to establish a new way of working, trying to agree with how we're going to be in a proper partnership basis, and then so the professional sort of aspect of working with one another and moving forward.
And do you feel good about where you are now, Brian?
I do. It's a 10-year journey. We're 2 years into it, so we've done a lot, but there's still a lot to do.
That's right. You mentioned key drivers. Can you talk about some of those key drivers to this relationship?
So key drivers for us were about having proper quality engineering, and we talk about there's the cost of engineering, and then there's the value of engineering. And for me, the value is far, far more important. Cost is important, but that'll come as a result of having the value. We don't get a rework. We don't have to have any rework during construction. So the main driver for us was to get sure that we had safety in place, so we can design systems that were simpler, therefore easier to construct, and easier to operate. Then after that, we're looking for engineering quality, so we're not having to do an element of rework. Schedule comes after that, and then cost. And then the last one we really wanted to say was this new way of working. How can we get access to your global pools of talent? In the UK and in the US, there's large offices within both Wood and Worley, but they have large offices in Colombia and India and across in Southeast Asia. We needed to access that to be able to deliver on our commitments to the rest of the company.
Yeah, what an important part of this relationship, that access to the workforce, and everybody's struggling with that too.
Yeah.
Well, Brian, another question I have is, this agreement is not just for capital work. I want you to define a little bit about what this arrangement really is outside of capital work.
Sure. So we started off thinking this was going to be for capital projects, and the capital projects portfolio is changing, and we're seeing more small projects rather than these large giga projects. We started to try and find out who we could work with on this. If we didn't have a business unit partner, it was going to be another centrally led initiative that has no buy-in from anybody else. So we spoke to the Australia business unit, and they wanted to go down the same path. They already worked with Worley, but didn't work with Wood. So bringing the Australia business unit on board, we're able to actually figure out what is it they needed to do, and pretty quickly realised it's not just about major capital projects. We've got 2 large LNG facilities there. We've got a large offshore platform. These need maintained and constant engineering and upgrading. So we realised it wasn't so much a total pivot, but it's certainly a change in our direction to make sure that we're covered for capital projects, early engineering, base business engineering as well.
I appreciate you commenting on that and giving everybody more understanding of the relationship. And Brian, I'll end with this question. AI and digitalization is a common theme here at the ECC conference. Where's Chevron in its AI digitalization journey?
Well, we are on a journey, aren't we? We've looked at it. There's an awful lot of really powerful AI tools that we're looking at to use. We can use it with helping with the specs, but we're looking to try and see how we can bring it in to develop our engineering, early engineering, and then use it to do our execution as well. The AI will be a really useful tool, but what will enable it will be to actually follow through standard designs. The standard designs allow AI to come in and give it a degree of repeatability, hopefully more effectiveness and efficiency too.
Brian, I appreciate your time. Thank you for sitting down with us, and appreciate you participating here at the ECC.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.